from your experience, your personal experience, how has being a woman in a career and a woman as an entrepreneur changed over the period?
Well, you're absolutely right. I mean, when I started work at 21, attitudes towards women in the workplace were, from my experience, so different. I mean, there was, I struggled quite a lot with people not taking me seriously, or a lot of sexism, latent sexism, overt sexism, sexual harassment as a young woman in those days, in a junior position in particular. And it was very much a boys' club, without a doubt. And I then went to work for another business which was run by a woman, and there was, you could sense, even if you were subconsciously, that there was a real competitiveness to, even by bringing women into your organization to work for you, there was competitiveness with your employees, that there was a fear that because there were few positions for a lot of women, or not many women ran businesses, there was an absolute fear of potential loss, or somebody take your position. I didn't feel that, because I think I felt that, and I'd always felt through university and growing up, that it's irrelevant if you're a male, or female, it's your determination. So I never felt there were any barriers as such at all in my career, ever, other than from some women who might want to have your job off you. But I did feel that you had to watch your back in some situations. And when I set Roland Dransfield up as a young woman, I was dealing with men who were much older than me, who were clients, maybe particularly in a professional services organisation, that we did a lot of financial services and professional services work. I had to very, very early on set boundaries and make it very clear that, you were prepared to walk away from a client, that you wouldn't take client work on at any cost just because it was fees. And over the years, yeah, very much so. I'm involved in lots and lots of women groups. I mentor young women. I mean, there's definitely because there are more opportunities for women now, for sure, but I do think we're more supported. I think if a woman needs a female mentor, for example, you can go and find a very good female mentor quite easily now. And corporates have to be, as we know, I mean, in terms of diversity and inclusion, organizations have got values, and they've got standards that they have got to adhere to now. So there's loads more transparency, and there's a lot less bad behavior. The type of stuff I saw would have made people's toes curl.
Yeah. So I worked 15 years in Big Four professional services. So even over those 15 years, the advent of when I started, where 95% of partners were men, to when I left, it was 60-40 or 55-45. The women were getting to senior positions. But the one thing I wanted to say was there is difference in company culture, in that some companies are more progressive than others, and particularly companies that style themselves on sort of bank style transactions, because banking is still quite male orientated and quite not very progressive. How have you implemented culture into your own business? Not just for women, but for ethnic minorities, for social mobility. How have you tried to embed that culture within your company?
Well, I think in terms of culture, I mean, I set out wanting to make sure that my business had integrity, and that I learned that some of the lessons of the things that I'd seen around me, and the behaviors that didn't sit well with me. So that was really important. And so we've always had a very open working relationship with everybody that's come through the business. And I'm very proud to say that after 25 years of having the business, there's an alumni of people who've worked for Roland Dransfield, who've got their own, we've got friendship networks. There's a great big club of people who have been amazing leavers, and we're friends now. But we did, one thing it is, we have had this conversation recently actually in the team, that it is difficult to sometimes recruit a team with that level of diversity in it. We're a small SME, and there is an issue in terms of the people who are coming into the industries. That's predominantly the problem that you have. So that if you're looking for somebody, say, with 10, 15 years experience, or even 10 years, 5 years experience, it's who's coming into the industry. So is the industry doing enough at that very early level to attract people from diverse backgrounds? We do a lot of work with charitable organisations, where we're trying to, one project that we're working on is called Our Year 2022, and that's about what we do as a business community to help make the next generation, or the young people today, understand that this city that we're in here, it is available. Those opportunities are available for many of those young people who just don't feel that those doors are open to them. So I think there is still an issue. I don't think we're there yet. But in terms of a culture point of view, we did a lot of work on our culture and our values about 3.5 years ago, because I felt that time we were going for quite fast growth. We'd brought some people into the business who had quite a lot of industry experience, and which they kind of got through different organisations, but the culture of the organisation changed. I felt we were being taken away from what was really important to me, and I felt depressed, and I felt upset about going into my own organisation, knowing that some of those values weren't how I wanted, and I wanted the business to show up. So we did a huge piece of work around what we wanted the culture to be, what those values looked like. And as a result of it, which is an inclusive exercise, we did lose some people out of the team because they, for whatever reason, felt they couldn't show up against those values. We lost some clients because we decided that those clients didn't fit in with the way that we wanted our values to be, and therefore I couldn't expect my team to have to work with those organisations that didn't share our values. So our brand, I suppose, has become our values now, and it is absolutely inclusive. We have one of our values is leaders create leaders, and that's about the fact that it doesn't matter if you've got 6 months experience and you're a Kickstarter, you've got 25 years experience, everyone's a leader, and we encourage people to take a lead and have a voice. And we have lots and lots of ways within the organisation where everyone's voice is, and needs and requirements are heard by everybody in the team. So it's not hierarchical at all.
Amazing. It's so important in business to do that.